Yes, sir.
I already trimmed off half the position. I had 20 micros on that bitch.
Damn, too many. It.
Hell yeah.
Like to hear it.
More. I had 3 micros running.
Good stuff. Good
Boy.
stuff.
You got that jazz in the background.
It's that Jay Dilla.
Okay. See what they trying to take this thing. These 3 micros could be something special.
Yes, sir. Run on to victory.
3 micros could be something special.
What up, y'all boys?
What's up, bro?
Happening, man.
Got it.
Catch any of these longs so far?
Say you in longs?
I said, did you catch any of these longs?
No. We talking. I'm not. What you watching? ES?
Yeah, I'm watching you.
Oh no, I'm not watching NQ. I wasn't even looking at it today. Y'all caught him?
Yeah, I'm in longs right now.
Nice.
Might pick up some more. Don't get too greedy. It's been so far away from my entry though.
Good shit.
But this thing had to fall out of bed for it to, come back and get me. But I'll definitely close it before I do that. Yeah, but my entry is at 741.
It's time for vacation. Styles outdated. About to send these hating hyenas.
800 level though.
Blazing these indicas, hybrids and sativas. Check the cleavage of these rocks way harder than her tits. They're just as fake as her lips, as long as they pay her attention. My rap's straight third dimension.
I was really trying to find a level to buy from. Honestly, I couldn't find one.
While I was puffing my brains out, and she started sucking me down while I watch my favorite sitcom. Why are people so slow with it? Are you people listening? You see how I'm flipping this? What
You break that 800, I might add into this one.
I do, yeah. I do see something for me though on the hour. If we do break above on ES, if we get above like 60, 75, then I'll go ahead and get active.
Show some love to the deep baby, you know me. Yeah, we shake these haters like dice. Yeah, we shake these haters like dice. Yeah, I shake them haters like dice.
800 being stubborn over it. Feel like they want to bring it all the way down. I'm at 41.
And you can date your woman your whole life. She still gon' leave with GS. Me, yes, ain't no secret. He blessed, he fresh. All y'all green and depressed. And we west on the coast with the blunts to burn.
Yeah, I gotta do some waiting, so we just started. We just started 9:38. Yeah, it's all good. I'm gonna definitely see what this 15-minute opening candle range is.
We had it locked before we spoke a sentence. Yeah.
I said, my people, are you listening? Show some love to the 313, you know me. I said, my ladies, are you listening? Show some love to the D baby, you know me. Yeah, we shake these haters like dice. Yeah, we shake these haters like dice. Yeah, I shake them haters like
I got my eye on this USD JPY as well.
I'm a deep, straight hypnotist. Tremble, quake, quaver, shiver your whole insides with this unexplainable delivery. Deliver these vocals that you picture so vividly, comparable to those memories in the early stages. Before society put your minds in cages so you can block the stage, sink your mind. A wise old fella dropped the gems. You smell that when the seas spark the game like CP3 from Tennessee to New Orleans.
Oh my goodness.
Alright.
I said, my people, are you listening? Show some love to the 313, you know me. I said, my ladies, are you listening? Show some love to the D, baby, you know me.
Meadows, what time frame do you execute your trades in?
Yeah, we shake these haters.
I draw my level, my previous day highs, lows, and previous session high low on the bigger time frames. You know, I mark out my key gaps, like big gaps on the bigger time frames. I make my executions on the 30-second and the 1 minute time frame.
What about you, Pablo?
It depends, honestly. Sometimes it could be the seconds in between the 30s or 5 minute. But honestly, for certain positions that I look for, it could be off the hour. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just depends on what the setup actually looks like.
Okay, so we inside a 5 minute gap right now.
Yeah. Still a J.
Right now, I'm looking at book map because it's sitting inside of a 5 minute gap. So now I'm on the 30-second chart, determining if I'm going to either add to position or take my position completely off.
Check it. Yo. These are my amazing diamond eyes. We made of Aquarius, Libras, and Geminis. And we call ourselves the air signs. Just breathe in the music.
Gonna do what you gonna do.
Thank you for your wisdom.
Let me know.
Taught me game, now the ladies on me now, just like James. I've yet to meet someone more intelligent than my big sister. Get all my friends intimidated. Try to talk back, my sister get evacuated. Educated is an understatement. She taught me to beat myself and fuck the nation. Put the middle finger up. It's all about the dope nuts. Martha, you so silly. Why is girl's nickname Pink Willie? We so silly.
I'm gonna put a stop off. I don't even have a stop off. I'm sure.
Just breathe in the music. What up, Earl the Pearl? Crazy with the pencil and eraser on the paper. Sketch your life after he met you twice. My brother overdo it sometimes, extra thrice. You know you showed it.
Wanna do NQ? What you wanna do?
Your ass need to get back in contact. Close enough to feel the impact of my flow.
Yeah, he is at this little top of this little range.
Like MJ with the pen, I'm in the zone.
I think Kyle's supposed to be speaking at 10.
Yeah, somebody definitely supposed to be speaking.
Barcode in the lower time frame right now. But ooh, that 800 level is crazy.
To my brother James, how many nicknames? James up there making beats with James and James Brown, and Bob is making another move on the same cloud because of you. I can sleep with the bass loud, got me looking like a superstar. Yo, I'm about to take this shit super far. I appreciated the kicks in school, stay the year ahead. And speaking of the year ahead, it's Yancey boys, bitch, make noise. No, louder, make noise. James, I know you're right here with me.
Ooh, that looks heavy.
60, 80, 60, 80.
Ooh, that
It's
looks
on the
heavy.
book map.
Damn, that looks heavy.
60, 77. Time
That That shit look heavy as fuck.
944.
On.
Dang. Yeah, I'm gonna wait till all of that get broke.
Damn, that big ass bubble just disappeared.
He's playing games, is he?
I didn't do that. I'm doing my stop. Break even on this. Well, $6 is minus, but hey, we had that runner. Come on, 800. Just go ahead and break real quick. If you break 800, this bitch is out of there. But I don't think they're gonna do it before 10 o'clock. That's my problem. It's real heavy right there too. Keep my finger on the trigger. Come on, I'm 10 points away. Let's go. Stop playing with me, man. Come on. I see the light just like you do. We both see the same horizon. Come on now. You right there. You right there. I just put bookmap up on the screen.
For sure, about to check.
Look at that 800 level, bro.
Hey, it ain't up there, bro.
It ain't up there?
Yeah, I'm about to say, it looks like it says it ended, bro.
Yeah.
Is it up there now?
Nope.
No.
Damn, they really did that. That's crazy. There we go. Oh,
No, I see us.
Oh yeah, you got the wrong one up. You sharing the what you call it screen.
it's still on y'all.
Yeah.
Damn, what the fuck? See, I'm not tech savvy. This got me. Hold on. Stop streaming. I'm trying to watch this bitch and do it at the same time. Let's see. Make selection. This page. There we go. Fine.
Good.
Did it
now.
work now?
Yeah, we can see.
Alright. That 800 level is a killer.
So you saying if you break that level, if they clear it, you in for the longs?
I'm still riding my runner from my early position. I just added to my runner, but if they break them 800s, I think that bitch is gonna fly for real. There it is. Come on. Stop playing. Then I also got my finger on the trigger just to close the trade if it like reverses stupid quick. I can still book some profit on my runner instead of just letting it go to waste. But 800 is definitely in my way for sure. He's gonna have to pretend though.
Why are people so slow with it? Are you people listening? You see how I'm flipping this? What color is that? It's called originality. Cali weed, it gotta be grown naturally for me to grind it and roll it. Now I can't control.
Or I might just like
backstage smoking with MJ and Otis. A naked lady on the couch. Does anybody notice? I said, my people, are you listening? Show some love to the 313, you know me. I said, my ladies, are you listening? Show some love to the D baby, you know me. Yeah, we shake these haters like this.
Come on.
Yeah, we shake these haters like this. Yeah, I shake them haters like this. Yeah.
Oh shit. Oh shit.
Sleep with divas and serve these whack rappers.
That's thick round.
You get sliced on the mic, I'm so nice. Amazing shit,
That's
serious
one
about
guy.
it's cold ice. And you can date your woman your whole life. Still gon' leave with GS. Me,
Who gotta
yes,
go?
ain't no secret. He blessed, he
I'm
fresh.
I'm wait. I really, the move was really off the opening, but yeah, right now, ES is struggling like hell to break 74.
Yeah. Oh, I'm closing that. Yep, I'm out of there.
Show some love to the 313, you know me. I said, my ladies, are you listening? Show some love to the D, baby, you know me. Yeah, we shake these haters like dice. Yeah, we shake these haters like dice. Yeah, I shake them haters like dice. Yeah.
Oh, I just gonna wanna flip and go do the damn thing.
And we don't got no data. It's just somebody speaking, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, 10 is
Powell's testifying.
Yeah, his low testimony.
All right.
Gotta lock in on that one. You know, motherfucker say anything.
Right. What's his two little keywords? Good morning or something? What is it?
Either he'll say will not be speaking on monetary policy, or he doesn't feel like the inflation needs to go up or whatever. I can't remember. I feel like we ain't heard him speak in a hot minute.
But you know, like I was seeing some memes where they was like, if he says good afternoon, it does something, or if he says like hello type shit, like it's like
he just walks to the podium and be like, good afternoon.
Right, yeah, they be tripping type shit.
Yeah, that should be funny. This thing really ain't gonna do nothing till 10 now. Man, they close out of that, but then again.
Y'all already know about me. I'm about to tell y'all a little bit about my family, my siblings and stuff.
Yeah, like she wanna go stupid.
Who inspired me to get where I am right now. Check it. Yo. These are my amazing family ties. We're made of Aquarius, Libras, and Geminis. And we call ourselves.
Did I get fucking charged?
Oh, she popped 800.
Just breathe in the music. Martha, thank you for your wisdom. You know you taught me game. Now the ladies on me now, just like James. I've yet to meet someone more intelligent than my big sister. Get all my friends intimidated. Try to talk back, my sister get evacuated. Educated is an understatement. She taught me to beat myself and fuck the nation. Put the middle finger up. It's all about the donuts. Martha, you so silly. Why girls nickname
And stay above 800, that's the question. Nope.
We so silly.
And not.
Amazing family ties. We're made of Aquarius, Libras, and Geminis.
Straight back down.
We call ourselves the air signs. Just breathe in the music. What up, Earl the Pearl? Crazy with the pencil and eraser on the paper. Sketch your life after we met you twice. My brother overdo it sometimes, extra thrice. You know you showed it, but it don't matter, cause you my bro. White or black, yeah. Your ass need to get back in contact. Yeah, close enough to feel the impact of my flow. It's funny as hell, your little brother John grown like MJ with the pen, I'm in the zone. These are my amazing family ties. We're made of how many nicknames? James up there making beats with James and James Brown, and Bob is making another move on the same cloud because of you. I can sleep with the bass loud, got me looking like a superstar. Yo, you about to take this shit super far. I appreciate it. Stay the year ahead. And speaking of the
Boy, ES is struggling.
boys, bitch, make noise. No, louder, make noise. James, I know you're right here with me. I know you're right here with me. These are my amazing appetizers. We're made of Aquarius, Libras, and Geminis. And we call ourselves the air signs. Just breathe in the music. Yeah. I spend so much time just thinking about nothing. Yeah, yeah. 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 JD, Easy Boys 1 and 2. You know how we do. We here, y'all. We here. You ready? We here. I said we here. Let's buckle up.
Beto, you still on them longs, or you out of there?
Oh, no,
Huh?
I'm out of there.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm out of there.
We popping bottles like it's first day of the year.
I ran out of profit. Took that money before 10.
Get set, go. Punch the gas, hold the wheel and don't let go. We flying on our own. I'm in another country, I will call you when I'm home. Yeah, so this is for my people with ice to rock, cause it's nice to rock. Yeah, and this is for my people with the pricey watch, cause it's nice to rock. So throw your hands in the sky if you live in the dream, you know I'm getting the screen. I stay fresh and the ladies call me Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean. This is Mr. Clean, Mr. Listerine, Krispy Kreme, donuts, go nuts, hold nuts, nuts don't rush, don't bust, gotta enjoy this, let's go crazy. You saw purple rain, out cold off the chain, gotta get a bodyguard, get holes off my chain, need to get away, now we traveling off to Spain. Just check my bank account, I can't complain. It's me, Stacy, and Frank and Dank. Rolling through the gates of the Illa Soul Palace. Got crazy whips, got our soul balance. The money is nothing, it's all about the journey. It's all about the challenge. The school needs wannabes, put your mouth under these. Here's a nice tea bag to clear your throat. I'm out here in Cali, I don't need a coat. All I do is stay high and let my mind flow. Yeah, so this is for my people with ice to rock, cause it's nice to rock. Yeah, this is for my
ES looking like she wanna not break this high, or well, these equal highs.
I stay fresh and the ladies call me Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean. I'm so icy hot, yeah, yeah. I got that pricey watch, yeah, yeah. These crazy diamond rings, yeah, yeah. I love the way they beam, yeah. Yancy boys, dynamite, like JJ, James and John, timeless bond. Beats is ridiculous, rhymes are strong. We give you 12 unforgettable, timeless songs. You know the deal, you know what's ill, you know what's real. Bob your head, you know you feel, you know the deal. Yeah, so this is for my people with ice to rock, cause it's nice to rock. Yeah, and this is for my people with the pricey watch, cause it's nice to rock. So throw your hands in the sky if you live in the dream, you know I'm getting the screen. I stay fresh and the ladies call me Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean. Yeah, still a J.
On the 800 level, back again.
Yancy boy from Detroit, Michigan.
ES just ranging out.
Coming for that number one spot. About to rock the world. About to rock the world. About to rock the world. Gonna rock the world.
10.
That bitch moved up. Damn, that bitch took off. I was looking at the whole different screen.
Damn. Shit.
Say good morning.
Why are people so slow with it? Are you people listening? You see how I'm flipping this? What color is that?
Look, it's thin as hell though.
Yeah, facts. ES is crazy thin right now.
Backstage smoking with MJ and Otis. A naked lady on the couch. Does anybody notice? I said, my people, are you listening? Show some love to the 313, you know me. I said, my ladies, are you listening? Show some love to the D baby, you know me. Yeah, we shake these haters like this. Yeah, we shake these haters like this. Yeah, I shake them haters like this. Yeah.
GS boy, I Chief Chiba, sleep with divas and serve these whack rappers like pizzerias. You get sliced on the mic, I'm so nice. Amazing shit said, it's about as common as cold ice. And you can date your woman your whole life, she still gon' leave with GS. Me, yes, ain't no secret. He blessed, he fresh, all y'all green and depressed. And we west, on the coast with a blunt to burn. Sometimes I lose count of the funds we earn. Yeah, so when I retract and count, where the amount's at. Rap is my kingdom, give me the crown hat. My crew deep, we blow.
Hey, can you pull the speech up, Meadows?
And Illa J is my co-defendant. We had it locked before we spoke the sentence.
Say what?
Can you pull the speech up?
Yeah, I look for it.
I'm gonna turn this music off.
Show some love to the D baby, you know me. Yeah, we shake these haters like this. Yeah, we shake these haters like this. Yeah, I shake them haters like this. Yeah, got you in hypnosis. I'm a deep straight hypnotist. Tremble, quake, quaver, shiver your whole insides with this unexplainable delivery. Deliver these vocals that you pitch so vividly, comparable to those memories in the early stages. Before society put your minds in cages so you can block stays in your mind. A wise old fella drop the gems. You smell that when the seas spark the game like CP3 from Tennessee to New Orleans. Are your eardrums open? Are your eardrums open? Are your eardrums? Are your eardrums? Are your eardrums open? I said, my people, are you listening? Show some love to the 313, you know me. I said, my ladies, are you listening? Show some love to the D baby, you know me. Yeah, we shake these haters like this. Yeah, we shake these haters like this. Yeah, I shake them haters like this. Yeah. Are you listening?
My shit moving slow as fuck. That's it right here. Oh, that shit say it still got 1 minute to go before he even hit the podium.
Oh, facts.
What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Frank Nick. Big shout to Illa J. So, got a little tidbit for y'all. Maybe you don't know. Illa J is the younger sibling of one of the greatest producers of all time by the name of J. Dilla. And, Dilla was a good close friend of mine. And, John get it natural. I'll say that. But I'll also say that, for years and years, I used to tell my man Dilla that he was an extraterrestrial, if you will, from some foreign place, not of this earth. You understand? An alien. And for all those that know Dilla,
less than $1,000 in their silver
Dilla's
bag.
had a thing for aliens for whatever reason. He had
Here's good
dolls,
news.
pillows,
Things are
t-shirts,
going to get
crazy.
better. During his first term, President Trump kept his promises to the American people. In the first 3 years of his presidency,
Can y'all hear that?
President Trump
Yup.
built the most inclusive economy ever. 7 million jobs created, and 2/3 went to women, African Americans, and Hispanics. It's time to once again make America's economy work for the folks working paycheck to paycheck. Joe Biden broke our economy, and Donald Trump will fix it. For too long, bank regulators have followed a black box regulatory framework with little to no recourse. The FDIC, under President Trump's leadership, recently released never before seen supervisory documents which confirm that Biden's Operation Choke Point 2.0 was real,
Oh,
despite
yeah.
assurances
Choke point.
that these unacceptable
That's that crypto
practices
stuff right
would end following the Democrats' first Operation Choke Point 1.0.
Mm-hmm.
We are seeing an unfair playing field that results in disastrous consequences for legal businesses and law-abiding citizens. On one hand, if you were in the private sector and you do your job poorly, you would face consequences, reprimands, suspensions, or even being fired. But if you are within the walls of the federal government, such as a bank regulator, you will face no consequences for your actions, even if you pressure a bank to cut off services to digital asset firms, political figures, and conservative aligned businesses and individuals. To me, that goes against the principles of fairness and market access. Over the last 2 years, as a ranking member of this committee, I have consistently argued that Basel III endgame proposal will raise costs and limit credit access for hardworking Americans. And while I'm glad this proposal was not finalized, the uncertainty surrounding Basel III forced banks to put capital on the sidelines, limiting access to that capital for local small businesses across our country. Now, as chairman, I plan to work to rectify the issues of the Biden administration. Chairman Powell, I look forward to hearing from you on the Federal Reserve's future and the plans that you have for right-sizing the financial regulatory framework, specifically around Basel III. To create jobs here in America, we need to make sure there's capital and liquidity in the market. And we also want all Americans, even those growing up in poverty like I did, to know that they can access the capital necessary to start new businesses, grow existing businesses, buy a home, and pursue their American dream. Chairman, I look forward to your comments and your testimony. I will simply say that I believe that weaponizing an independent agency like the Fed for liberal positions, from debanking crypto, bank stress test, and the green financing scheme is not calling balls and strikes as a fair referee. And I hope that we are getting ready to clean that slate, start afresh, and focus on a healthy economy. Thank you, Member Warren.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Chair Powell, it is no secret that you and I disagree on the need for strong bank regulation, on monetary policy, and on the Fed's stock trading scandals. We have sharp differences, but I believe you are a principled public servant who cares about this country. We are at an unprecedented moment. Our financial systems are facing huge risks from the economic chaos of President Trump and his co-president, Elon Musk. From on-again, off-again tariffs to on-again, off-again layoffs for tens of thousands of government workers, to on-again, off-again cuts in domestic grain purchases, to on-again, off-again support for medical research. Now, Co-President Musk and his R&D director have frozen all work at the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. There are now 0 cops overseeing the $18 trillion consumer lending market. 0 cops. Investigations into illegal foreclosures and auto repossessions canceled. Exams of giant credit card issuers to weed out unlawful junk fees canceled. Probes of illegal debt collection practices canceled. Rules to save people billions of dollars canceled. If Musk and his OMB directors succeed in killing the CFPB, it's like putting a sign on every checking account, every credit card, every mortgage application, and every car loan. Cops have been fired. Let the scams begin. That is not all. Musk and his Doge crew are also rooting through the Treasury's most important payment systems, the financial plumbing that ensures that billions of payments go through, from Social Security checks to grants for community health centers. No one has verified how they got this access or what they are doing with it. No one has checked whether Americans' financial data has been copied or sold for the personal profit of Mr. Musk. Instead, we've had a series of misleading and conflicting statements by Treasury Secretary Bessent. After receiving public blowback, it appears that Secretary Bessent is now trying to throw the Federal Reserve under the bus. Secretary Bessent claims that Doge can't meddle with the Treasury's payment systems because ultimately the Fed is in control. Now, I'm not sure whether Secretary Bessent doesn't understand how the system works or if he's just trying to shift the blame to you. But I know he is wrong. The Fed simply executes the transactions that Treasury instructs. If Elon and his hackers, for example, initiate instructions to choke off payments to their enemies, or if they issue instructions to shut down
She on Elon ass, huh?
Bad.
aids for kids with special needs, the Fed may have no way of knowing that the instructions were manipulated, and the Fed may have no legal
Market
method
just
to
ranging
override
out.
them.
Like,
Chair Powell, the next 18 months may define your legacy and the country's trust in the Fed as an institution. I expect that you will work with Democrats and Republicans and Congress if Doge's next move is to try to commandeer the Fed's payment system. I also expect that you will not join the conspiracy to shutter the CFPB. Unlike the Treasury payment instructions, you can see if the CFPB's funding requests have been manipulated. I understand that some extremists have a different view about what the law ought to be, but under the law right now, impoundment is clearly illegal. Do not make the Federal Reserve an accomplice to this illegal act and forever sully the reputation of the Fed. Keep the CFPB funded exactly as the law requires. We are in the middle of a crisis as Elon Musk tries to take over our government. But let's also talk for just a minute about your day-to-day job, meeting the Fed's dual mandate of promoting maximum employment and stable prices. It's now clear that the Fed acted too late and let inflation get too high, and then responded by keeping rates too high for too long. These policies made the big drivers of inflation, like housing costs, even worse. And they put Americans' jobs at risk, making it more difficult for them to afford a home and for small businesses to be able to finance their operations. I urge you to move more rapidly to bring down interest rates, beginning with a meaningful rate cut next month. You have proven you can move quickly when it is politically expedient. After President Trump was elected, within the space of just a few weeks,
Crazy right now.
seemingly all mention of diversity and inclusion from the Fed's website. You withdrew from an international central bank group that shares information on climate-related risks to the financial system. You instituted a hiring freeze that will limit the number of cops on the Wall Street beat, and you announced plans to gut big bank stress tests. I can see the immediate political appeal of your strategy, but ultimately it will fail. You will lose good people. Climate catastrophes will continue to mount, and the increasing vulnerability of big banks will threaten our entire economy. Sure, Donald Trump may be happier with you right now, but wading deeper into politics to please him over the long run will burn the reputation and the independence of the Fed and put our entire economy at risk. I urge you, don't fall into these traps. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, ma'am. Today we'll hear from Chair of the Federal Reserve, Jerome Powell, on the semi-annual monetary policy report to Congress. Chair Powell, thank you for your testimony today, and you are now recognized.
Oh shit, here we go.
Chairman Scott, Ranking Member Warren, and other members of the committee, I appreciate the opportunity to present the Federal Reserve's semi-annual monetary policy report. The Federal Reserve remains squarely focused on achieving our dual mandate goals of maximum employment and stable prices for the benefit of the American people. The economy is strong overall and has made significant progress toward our goals over the past 2 years. Labor market conditions have cooled from their formerly overheated state and remain solid. Inflation has moved much closer to our 2% longer run goal, though it remains somewhat elevated. We are attentive to the risks on both sides of our mandate. I will review the current economic situation before turning to monetary policy. Recent indicators suggest that economic activity has continued to expand at a solid pace. GDP rose 2.5% in 2024, bolstered by resilient consumer spending. Investment in equipment and intangibles appears to have declined in the fourth quarter, but was solid for the year overall. Following weakness in the middle of last year, activity in the housing sector seems to have stabilized. In the labor market, conditions remain solid and appear to have stabilized. Payroll job gains averaged 189,000 per month over the past 4 months. Following earlier increases, the unemployment rate has been steady now since the middle of last year, and at 4% in January remains low. Nominal wage growth has eased over the past year, and the jobs to workers gap has narrowed. Overall, a wide set of indicators suggests that conditions in the labor market are broadly in balance. The labor market is not a source of significant inflationary pressures. The strong labor market conditions in recent years have helped narrow long-standing disparities in employment and earnings across demographic groups. Inflation has eased significantly over the past 2 years, but remains somewhat elevated relative to our 2% longer-term goal. PCE prices rose 2.6% over the 12 months ending in December, and excluding the volatile food and energy categories, core PCE prices rose 2.8%. Longer-term inflation expectations appear to remain well anchored, as reflected in a broad range of surveys of households, businesses, and forecasters, as well as measures from financial markets. Our monetary policy actions are guided by our dual mandate to promote maximum employment and stable prices for the American people. Since last September, the FOMC lowered the policy rate by a full percentage point from its peak, after having maintained the target range for the federal funds rate at 5.25% to 5.5% for 14 months. That recalibration of our policy stance was appropriate in light of the progress on inflation and the cooling in the labor market. Meanwhile, we've continued to reduce our securities holdings. With our policy stance now significantly less restrictive than it had been, and the economy remaining strong, we do not need to be in a hurry to adjust our policy stance. We know that reducing policy restraint too fast or too much could hinder progress on inflation. At the same time, reducing policy restraint too slowly or too little could unduly weaken economic activity and employment. In considering the extent and timing of additional adjustments to the target range for the federal funds rate, the FOMC will assess incoming data, the evolving outlook, and the balance of risks. As the economy evolves, we will adjust our policy stance in a manner that best promotes our maximum employment and price stability goals. If the economy remains strong and inflation does not continue to move sustainably,
I don't know where it want to go. I ain't took no trade yet, cuz ain't nothing. Ain't showed me nothing.
Unexpectedly, or inflation were to fall more quickly than anticipated, we can ease policy accordingly. We are attentive to the risks on both sides of our dual mandate, and policy is well positioned to deal with the risks and uncertainties that we face. This year, we are conducting the second periodic review of our monetary policy strategy, tools, and communications, the framework used to pursue our congressionally mandated assigned goals of maximum employment and stable prices. The focus of this review is on the FOMC's Statement on Longer Run Goals and Monetary Policy Strategy, which articulates the committee's approach to monetary policy, and on the committee's policy communication tools. The committee's 2% longer run inflation goal will be retained and will not be a focus of the review. Our review will include outreach and public events involving a wide range of parties, including Fed Listens events around the country and a research conference in May. We will take on board lessons of the past 5 years and adapt our approach where appropriate to best serve the American people to whom we are accountable. We intend to wrap up the review by late summer. Let me conclude by emphasizing that at the Fed, we'll do everything we can to achieve our dual mandate goals that Congress has set for monetary policy. We remain committed to supporting maximum employment, bringing inflation sustainably to our 2% goal, and keeping longer-term inflation expectations well anchored. Our success in delivering on these goals matters to all Americans. We understand that our actions affect communities, families, and businesses across the country. Everything we do is in service to our public mission. Thank you. I look forward to your questions.
Thank you, Chairman Powell. Certainly your words and your actions have a global impact. You have the opportunity and responsibility of leading this country in the right direction economically, and I thank you for your commitment to having a conversation with all of us about how you do that well. You and I had a conversation yesterday. Some of it was frustrating, some of it was illuminating, but in the end, my goal is to make sure that the American people, specifically those working paycheck to paycheck, have more opportunities to succeed, not fewer. You have said that the Fed is not against innovation, and banks are perfectly able to serve crypto customers as long as they understand and can manage the risks. Yet you have admitted that the threshold has been a little higher for banks engaging in crypto activities. Last week, I held a hearing on debanking and once again heard that federal banking agencies, in particular the Fed, use reputational risk as a tool to encourage the debanking of certain legal industries and law-abiding citizens for political reasons not tied to safety and soundness. Debanking is a top priority for this committee, and it certainly is for me, and one that I believe is a bipartisan issue. Will you commit to working with this committee to end debanking, including working with the new Vice Chair of Supervision, once appointed, to revise the Federal Reserve supervision manuals to remove reputational risk as a tool to weigh in on political topics?
I'm happy to make that commitment.
Thank you, sir. Accountability is very important. I would like to think accountability is a priority for everyone, especially the Fed, given that failures in Fed supervision.
Finally got something to react to.
Following the failure of the Silicon Valley Bank
on this 5 close.
Failures of this regulatory
6082
regulators to identify egregious mismanagement of interest rate and liquidity risks. We have yet to see any regulators be held accountable. And as you recall, that was a point of my frustration. As a guy who spent a lot of time in the private sector, 15 years running a few businesses, I can tell you that accountability is a necessary part of making the entire organization healthier and perform its job as well as possible. I'm encouraged that the FDIC has begun the process of holding SVB executives accountable. That's good news. But no Fed employee has been fired, put on probation, put on a performance improvement plan, all of which would be expected in the private sectors I just mentioned for employee failure. Please explain to me why Fed employees are held to a different standard from my perspective than everyone else, and what are you planning to do to take accountability for Fed failures in supervision?
So we've actually done quite a lot in response to the events associated with Silicon Valley Bank. So we've done many things. In terms of specific accountability, what we found was this was not a case of malfeasance or nonfeasance so much. It was a case of people were carrying out a specific playbook that failed to cause us to act in time for these things. So it wasn't actually particularly fair to the employees to say you violated our practices in some way. That wasn't really what happened. What happened was, I would say, a lot of focus on process and on governance and controls, and not enough focus on basic bread and butter banking, credit risk, liquidity risk, interest rate risk, things like that. So as we discussed yesterday, we very substantial steps to avoid further spread of those issues, and that was successful.
60,
But
70.
I understand your point on accountability.
This is one of the areas where you see the approach to looking at safety and soundness, and the number of MRAs that when really documented but no action was taken, that leads me to the conclusion that individual employees, supervisors, should have been held accountable for that. I'll move on though. In the past, you supported tailoring regulations so that we ensure banks of different sizes thrive and preserve our diverse banking system. Will you commit to working with me as chairman to make sure that financial regulations do not impose more burden than is necessary? I'll say that this comes after a number of conversations with community banks and regional banks that have continued to stress that the cost of the regulatory framework around them isn't just harsh, it's oppressive. Larger banks suggest that the cost per employee for the regulatory framework is $10,000 per employee. I think we can do better. We'd love to hear your thoughts on that.
Right, first of all, I will commit to working with you on that.
Damn, I
We
get
do
a pull
try
back.
With excessive burden. I
Hold on,
think
I might
it's
get
fair to
one.
take a fresh look, frankly, on
I might get
debanking.
one
I think
at
we all see
60,
both on
77.
hearing
Yeah, we
and side
about to be right
a
here.
lot talking about that. And, it's time to take a fresh look, I think. We don't intentionally do these things, but sometimes regulation leads things to happen, and we need to be working on that.
I appreciate that, and I'll turn over to the ranking member. I'll say this, after having a number of conversations with CEOs of banks around the country, one of the things that was...
Did y'all want to still listen to that?
Nah, I'm straight now.
I think you did what it was supposed to do. Or maybe my volume down. Or my volume up. Yeah. Ain't really do nothing for the market.
No, I see where I could have got long at, but all that talking, man, it was just whipsawing crazy.
Mm-hmm. Like right now, it's stuck. Ain't talking about shit.
All right.
Pablo, man, I need to get motivated and get back in the gym, man.
Shoot.
I ain't been motivated lately, bruh.
Better find something.
For real.
Gotta find something. I just try to stay in that junk.
I was in it heavy back in the summertime, bro. I was going at like 5 in the morning to Planet Fitness and shit.
Yeah, I remember. I remember.
Yeah. Life hit a youth. Taking that bitch though. Damn, that bitch broke the camel's back, huh?
Man, fuck yeah, man. If I can get a pullback, man, hopefully, that's all I need, man. That's all I need is a pullback to this little equal highs. I was gonna try this 5-minute candle.
Mm-hmm.
That previous, like, I would have been in this 5-minute candle, but this it didn't pull back deep enough for me.
Yeah.
hopefully I get a pullback off that move right there. That was a big rip. What time is it? 10:31. That's when the bullshit starts to go on.
That 50 level break. Ooh, 900. Here we come.
Probably won't even get no entry, man. Dang. I really, man. It's all good. It'll be tomorrow. Fuck it. That 5 ain't pulled back deep enough for me. I ain't want to take it right there and then have to put my stop way beneath that. Them little lows down there. Let me go back and look at this again.
So yeah, we not going up there.
Didn't it? 15 just down. 12 minutes left. 32, yeah. So be the last of the 30. First half of the 30, right? That should be key, so that should be cool.
All right, fellas, I'm gonna have to jump, man. Y'all boys bless up.
Be smooth, Brody.
You heard? Oh, yes, sir. All right. Where's the music? Music.
Damn, girl, you so hot, you got that jungle fever. And wait till you see this
24 now, same one, 24, 30, kid, this one, all type shit. Got this break, they got down 65, 70, 80. That happens, I should be at a, no, not yet. Like 5 or 6 or something like that. 30.
With new leadership at the other banking agencies. Certainly, you know, I've said many times in this committee that I think the capital in the largest banks is about right, and so it'll shake out somewhere in that area. I would
Our
think.
expectation would be, and the markets would expect that it would be neutral with regard to capital.
In that range, but I want to defer to our new colleagues and get their views as well. But that's a good starting place.
Okay, thank you. The Federal Reserve's partnership with the U.S. Treasury plays a central role in supporting our nation's payment infrastructure, which processes a vast range of daily transactions, from federal benefit disbursements to debt obligations. Could you outline the Federal Reserve's role in supporting and managing the Treasury's payment systems, including how the Fed works to keep these systems secure, efficient, and capable of handling the government's high volume of daily transactions?
So it's a complicated set of arrangements, and I'll try to summarize quickly. Effectively, Congress authorized spending, and then the agencies carry out those spending orders. And the way they do that is they send an order to pay a payee or recipient to the Treasury Department. Upstream, before it gets to the Fed, all of these decisions are made about, is this an appropriate order? Is this payee on the don't pay list, and all those things. Once the set comes to the Fed, and by that I mean 4 or so of the reserve banks, we actually make the payment. We take the money out of the Treasury General account and we make the payment. We make no judgments whatsoever. Those are all made upstream from us, and we are in fact the fiscal agent of the Treasury.
Confirm for me today, is the system safe today?
I believe it is, and I will tell you, we are very strongly committed to the integrity, efficacy, resilience, and all those things of this system. And you know, people do depend on this in a big way, and we're committed to that.
One last question for you, sir. The failure of Silicon Valley Bank, and the chairman brought this up. I'm just curious, recognizing a lot of banks out there looked at this, it cost the other banks in the system a lot of money, pick up the costs involved in the losses.
I have to.
Failure in the playbook.
Oh.
Has the playbook been revised, or can we expect that it will be revised?
In a lot of ways, it's been revised, yes. I can go into some details. I mean, one thing that didn't happen was, for example, the supervisors didn't follow through aggressively enough on things that they said. If they'd done that could well have been enough to stop it. But a lot of it was just not focusing enough directly on what was a very large amount of interest rate risk, a large portfolio of long-term securities matched up with an unstable funding base. And somehow people wrote about that, and not just Fed, others wrote publicly about this, but somehow we don't expect bank runs outside of a crisis in this country, and that's what that was. It was a bank run, and bank runs are incredibly damaging. I think everyone learned a lot from that and is determined to do better.
Crazy time.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think
Yes,
this is one,
sir.
I think, as you appropriately pointed out, I think this is an area where a lot more questions.
Crazy. That seemed like it was so long ago, bro, but it really wasn't.
Right.
Discussion about how that playbook has been revised would be appropriate in the future. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator Cortez Master.
Yup, I missed my entry today, man.
Thank you for the conversations in between these hearings as well.
Oh, good.
Let me focus on a couple of things of concern, and you touched on a little bit of this, and I think this is important to clarify. There was a change in the law when the CFPB was created. The CFPB examines the banks and enforces the law, whereas the Fed only supervises those banks. Is that correct? Or how would you determine that relationship?
With CFPB, so Dodd-Frank took a lot of the consumer compliance jurisdiction away from the other banking agencies and gave it to a newly created agency, the CFPB. We retained a residual amount of that, as we just discussed, which was banks under 10 billion in assets. But the CFPB essentially took all of that when Dodd-Frank came into being.
So as it was created, when you two were working together,
My stomach about growling crazy. I ain't took no trade. And I'm just seeing these orders just get put up here on ES, man. Shit, 18 minutes left. Type. 5. Don't really understand in a way of a 30-minute pullback. Shit. Oh shit. Hold on, guys.
Billion and fucking
this concern of
assets or whatever.
we're looking to streamline government. And listen, I'll be the first to tell you, there's a lot of bloat. We need to streamline it. We need to address regulations and overreach. But there's a strategic way to do it, and not this burn down the house that is going to harm people across the country, including in my state, those Nevadans that are looking for some sort of enforcement around consumer protection law. So that's what you're hearing from many of us on our side of the aisle here.
Can I just very briefly add that we do have some residual enforcement authorities, but what we don't have is examination authority, and even for the banks that the CFPB.
Thank you. Let me ask you this, and we talked about this over the phone, and I understand it may be difficult to answer this, but the Federal Reserve Board members have been clear that future interest rate cuts are unlikely to happen despite the strong economy. But there are folks in my home that are in my state that are waiting to buy a home. And we know that's still an issue, the high prices right now for home affordability. You add the interest rates to it, it is a problem. So do you think it's most likely that interest rates will remain above 6% for this year, or can you even address that?
So overall, the economy is strong, growing 2.5% last year. The labor market is also very solid. Unemployment at 4%, quite a low level. Inflation last year was 2.6% for the year. So we're in a pretty good place with this economy. We want to make more progress on inflation, and we think our policy rate is in a good place, and we don't see any reason to be in a hurry to reduce it further. As it relates to housing, so it's true that mortgage rates have remained high, but that's not so directly related to the Fed's rate. It's really related more to long-term bond rates, particularly the Treasury, the 10-year Treasury, 30-year Treasury, for example. And those are high for reasons not particularly closely related to Fed policy. Remain high. I think, once we lower rates and kind of rates return to a lower level, mortgage rates will come down. I don't know when that'll happen.
You don't know
when.
When
it does happen, we're still going to have a housing shortage in many places.
Thank you. Chairman Powell, thank you again for being here.
Thank you, ma'am. Next will be Senator Kennedy.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for being here.
I might have just missed my entry.
A friend, our ranking member,
Yeah.
said that you are knuckling under to the big bank lobbyists. Is that true?
No.
It seems to me that the big picture should not go unnoticed. Do you recall a year or two ago when inflation was rate?
Every age has its secrets.
Damn commercials.
Many economists and other
I was able to catch a quick long, so fuck it, I'm gonna take half off here in a
based
minute.
in part on history, said that you were going
Take
to
half
have
off
to
right there.
provoke
Where you wanna go?
unemployment
Do a break.
and put our country into a recession in order to get inflation down. Do you recall that?
Very, very well.
Are we in a recession?
Uh-oh.
We are not.
Damn.
Would you, as an American, trade places right now with Germany in terms of the economy?
No, I sure wouldn't.
How about China?
No.
Yeah, he whooping his ass now. Damn.
Things aren't perfect.
Y'all just see the look on this dude's face the way he's talking too.
And long rates are too high, which I want to talk about in a second. But the fact is, knock on wood, we have experienced a soft landing, haven't we?
Not for me to say, really.
Damn.
Have we experienced a hard landing?
Sure.
Are we in a recession?
No, we're not.
I call that a soft landing.
Come on.
And it seems to me that you and some of the ladies and gentlemen,
I just want a
colleagues,
fucking
that was
entry, man.
behind you, show some credit for that.
Thank you.
I don't know why you don't take the credit. Everybody else in Washington, D.C. does. Again, I'm not saying things are perfect, but I never imagined that our landing could be this soft, albeit not perfect. And I wanted to thank you and your colleagues for that effort. You sure didn't get any help from Congress.
I thought he was going on a whole different direction.
Right.
President.
Plot twist.
Ooh, I did.
And to a large extent control short rates, can't you?
Damn.
Through the open market committee. You can't control long rates though, can you?
No, we can't.
Why is that?
So a lot of things go into long rates, and one of them is the expected future short rate of Fed policy, but many, many other things go in. Expectations of inflation in the longer run, the sort of risks around the economy and around the budget deficit go into something called the term premium, which is the part we can't explain when we do decompositions. And so, you know, it's set by supply and demand in the bond market at the long end, and we're not particularly. We have some influence, but mostly not.
Many Americans are looking at short rates and looking at the Fed's behavior and how you reduce inflation, but they don't see they don't see the long rates going down, and obviously that affects mortgage rates. And I would encourage you and your colleagues to spend some time explaining to the American people why that is. Final question. If you went home tonight and Mayor Powell, your spouse, said, you know, I got a call today from our bank, and they're debanking us. They're worried about their reputational risk because they don't like our politics. Would you think that fair?
No, and as I mentioned earlier, I too am troubled by the quantity of these reports, and really don't understand better why this is happening. You know, one theory is that banks are just very risk averse, around BSA and money laundering, and that's because we're so tough on them and that they just don't, any red flag is enough. But it may be that this whole thing with reputation risk needs to be thought about. It's actually coming out of our one manual that we used. We're taking that concept out, the manual that we've been using for account access for master accounts. We're just going to take that out. But I think this needs a fresh look, and I think it's time for that, and we're gonna do that.
Well, I've asked our chairman, and he has agreed to invite some of the CEOs of some of the banks that have been debanking people. The CEOs,
Yes.
not their lawyers, not their PR consultants, not their priests, the CEOs to come in and let's talk about this and find out what the hell's been going on.
Thank you, Senator Kennedy.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Senator Reed.
Thank you, Chairman Scott. Chairman Powell, welcome. Thank you very much. I think your monetary policy combined with the Biden fiscal policy over the last 4 years has made a tremendous difference. We've avoided a recession. I'd like to remind people of how we've come. In 2020, the gross domestic product decreased 2.2%. The unemployment rate finished the year at 6.7%. By 2024, gross domestic product grew 2.5%. The unemployment rate was 4.1%. Labor force participation rate went up from 61% to 62.5%. And that's a combination of your work together with the fiscal policy of the Biden administration. So I thank you for that. One of the issues before us today is the issue of tariffs. In July 2018 testimony, you stated, Mr. Chairman, countries that have remained open to trade, that have not erected barriers, including tariffs, have grown faster and higher incomes. Do you still believe that?
Yes, I do. I would stand by that.
So President Trump's tariffs on China, Canada, and Mexico will obviously raise costs on families. In fact, some economists, many economists, project about $1,200 per year in households will be paying extra. An increase in inflation by
Oh my God.
Policy. So I guess
Saying the big
I'd
T
say
word.
this,
That shit
I
dangerous.
think the standard case for
That tariff boy.
and all that logically still makes sense. It didn't work that well when we have one very large country that doesn't really play by the rules. And in any case, it's not the Fed's job to make or comment on tariff policy. We, really, that's for elected people, and it's not for us to comment. Ours is to try to react to it in a thoughtful, sensible way and make a policy so that we can achieve our mandate.
Just this weekend, the president removed the board of the Kennedy Center and made himself chairman. What would you do if the president tried to remove them at the Federal Reserve?
Well, it's pretty clearly not allowed under the law.
Thank you. We've communicated back and forth about synthetic risk transfer as potential danger to the banking system. And could you give us some insights on how we can improve financial stability by...
I hate I missed my entry, man. It's all good.
What we've been doing for some time now is looking at them on a case-by-case basis. And if they really do transfer risk successfully, then that's okay. I mean, it's a good thing if a bank wants to transfer risk off its balance sheet in a way that gets compensated for and all that. But what you want to make sure is that the risk is really transferred, and that was the problem during the global financial crisis. Is sort of things that appeared to but did not accomplish a transfer of risk. So we see this coming, and we've been looking at these transactions on an ongoing basis.
Well, I commend you for that. In fact, what happens typically is the transaction becomes complicated by synthetic risk transfers, as it was the case with synthetic derivatives. So
Yes,
thank
it's
you.
fucking flying, bitch.
We talked about housing. It's absolutely critical everywhere across the country. We're in a housing shortage. Of course, while housing is difficult, two of the mainstays of our housing market are Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, helping to support home ownership. Does the federal guarantee backing Fannie and Freddie help make mortgage rates more affordable and home ownership more accessible, Mr. Chairman?
I imagine it does hold down mortgage rates, with the fact that they're a sovereign risk.
And how important is the 30-year mortgage to ensure that families can afford a home?
In our housing market, the 30-year mortgage is very important.
Yeah. And I have heard some discussions about eliminating Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, which would be detrimental, I presume, to
Yeah, I'm done with that. Yeah. Yes, gave the long play, but shit, man, I just ain't see no entry that was safe for me outside of all that. I really wanted something at a retest at 60.74.
Yeah.
Somewhere up in there, like a little pullback of that 5-minute candle. That shit ain't do shit.
Mm-hmm.
That shit just killed ripping. Well, YouTube, that's probably gonna be it for me, man. I ain't about to get involved. Might see if the PM session got something going on. But other than that, don't get induced, don't get enticed. I didn't take a trade today on the future, so yeah. Find you a tree, wait with the sloth, man. We'll be back tomorrow.